Hi guys, it's Russ here from Lucy and Russ Property Chat. Today we're going to be talking about keys and what key system you should be looking at for your refurbishment, particularly for HMOs. So we're here today in a 6-bed HMO. This is actually in our own portfolio. We've just bought this and we're looking to do a refurbishment on it. And I wanted to talk to you about keys because we've been to pick up the keys from the agent last week and we have this huge bunch of Yale keys here. And we've spent about half an hour working out which ones open the doors to which property, which room in the property. So it made me think, let me just share with you what we think about key systems. So there are some benefits to the Yale key system. They're relatively inexpensive and very easy to get cut, which means that if you need to just nip to the locksmith on the corner and copy a key, you can do that. The downside is that so can a tenant. So at the end of a tenancy, they may leave you a key in the room, but how do you know from a security point of view that they haven't had another set cut, maybe for a partner or a spare? Perhaps they're planning to come back in and rob the next person. Unfortunately, we have seen that happen. Fortunately, we've taken security measures that we were actually able to stop that happening. So quick, easy and cheap, however, not necessarily as secure. The other alternative is to look at a master key system. So we have a system here which manages one particular portfolio that we have, which is quite a number of rooms. And that's great because our letting agent can go in and out of those houses, so can the maintenance people. They're not messing about looking for which key to take with them or what have you. So that key lets them into the front door, the bedrooms, the boiler cupboard, the boiler room. Everything in that whole portfolio can be opened with one single key, which is great particularly for self-managing landlords, really useful. Less useful if you're going to do one HMO or two HMOs and then give it to a letting agent who's also got lots of other people's master key systems, because they're the ones that are actually going to be in your property day to day. So if they've got to just carry around 30 odd master keys, the benefit really is lost. The downside of master keys is they're expensive. So if you're working with a letting agent and you give them your master key and they've got to manage all of these tenancies, they've still got to go and get keys cut potentially. It's from a security point of view, it's easier because tenants can't get them cut because they have to be cut under licence, so only named people can cut these keys. But it does mean that the keys are more expensive if they need replacing. And it does mean that you can't just nip anywhere around the corner to go and get them. Often you'll need to drive a little distance to the place that has the licence to cut those keys. Our preference on locks on the doors particularly is for number pads. So you would have a 6-digit key code that you would enter on the system. In fact, we've done a whole separate video about the benefits of these. You can check that out separately. But the reason we like that, a couple of things, is just as secure as the Yale locks. They are easy to give the tenants and they're easy to change. So our maintenance guys can change these in around about 20 minutes, half an hour. So we know that at the end of every tenancy, we can change that code and there's no chance of the previous tenant having cut a key because there is no key to cut. So it's great from a security point of view. It's very cheap because there is no real hard cost of having a code changed. And then also at 3 in the morning, if somebody's left their key at work or dropped it in the road on a night out, they don't have a key that they've lost, they've got a code. Normally they can remember the code. If it's been a really good night out, sometimes they can't. And so we've got a system in place where they can have a phone call into our 24/7 call handling service. They are asked a series of questions to identify themselves, and then the call handler gives them the code and they're back into their room. And that means that as a managing agent, as a landlord, you're not being called, we're not being called at 3 in the morning to give somebody a code or to give them access to their room, or even worse, driving across town to actually let them in. So that's our thoughts on Yale keys, master keys, and number pads. Check out the full video on number pads and you'll see all the reasons why we love them. Don't forget, subscribe to our channel, hit like and check out all our other content.